We're back. We're back once again for Round It Up. Shout out to the fam. Shout out to everybody that's tapping in with us. My game of the week in week 3 for the AFC's got to be Jags Bills. Jags coming in 0-2. They don't want to get off to an 0-3 start, going up against the Bills, who are 2-0, looking great on both sides of the football. That is my game of the week in the AFC. My upset of the week, I was leaning heavy. I was leaning heavy on this one. And I thought, you know what? The Vikings, they look good right now. They got the Texans coming in. The Vikings might pull the upset. I even thought about the Packers I even thought about the Packers going down to the Titans. But I'm going to go with the Falcons over the Chiefs. Chiefs come into that game. They're missing Isaiah Pacheco. They got Kirk Cousins coming off of a huge comeback win against the Eagles. He's at home. Jesse Bates is back there at safety, alongside of the man Justin Simmons, who has picked off Mahomes more times than anyone else in the NFL. I like the Falcons to pull out an upset on Sunday Night Football. And blowout notice. This, I'm going to have to go with the Panthers. They stink, guys. I mean, I'm sorry. They stink. The Panthers really stink. They don't really have a lot going on. That's great for them. I think that the Panthers end up getting rolled once again. And top 5 MVP projections as of right now, the list is, pretty similar to everybody else's, I'm sure. It's Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, CJ Stroud, Baker Mayfield, and to round off my list, Derek Carr, who comes in the 5th spot with a 2-0 record. The New Orleans Saints, best offense in the league. They got the Eagles this week. If they go to 3-0, I think Carr might be moving on up the list. But that's all I got. Thank you guys for tapping in. Always, thank you for the support. And shout out to the Round It Up fam. Peace.
What's up? It's your boy JMIK, coming to you with a couple things for week 3. I'm gonna talk about the game of the week, talk about upset of the week, blowout alert, and my top 5 MVP as of the end of week 2. So what I have for game of the week, man, I have the Texans versus the Vikings, man. There's a lot of storylines in this game. And you got Stephon Diggs, who plays on the Texans, who's going back to Minnesota. I believe it's the first time that he's going back to Minnesota. You also got a Danielle Hunter, who played for Minnesota last year. He's on the Texans this year. And you just have and you have a couple other players that I'm not going to name, but that are, that played for each one of these teams in the previous year that's playing for the other team this year. Should be a good matchup. You get to see CJ Stroud going against that Brian Flores defense. Brian Flores has a really exotic blitz scheme that he employs. So I just think it's going to be a really good game. Sam Darnold is playing really well the first 2 weeks of the season. It's something that a lot of people didn't expect. And Jettis is going to play. Jordan Addison is out, but I still expect a really good game. It's a must watch in the 1 p.m. window of games on Sunday. Next, I have the upset of the week. This was hard, man, because I'm looking at the slate of games. Like I don't see a lot of upsets that I feel confident in, but I'm gonna go with the Eagles and the Saints. I think the Eagles can pull this out. The Eagles had a bad loss on Monday Night Football game that they should have won. In my opinion, if they would have ran the ball with Saquon instead of throwing it, in that the pass that he dropped, it would have killed more time off the clock, and they might have got the first down. They might have won. So I think for the Eagles, this is a must bounce back game because they're 1-1. In their division, the Commanders are technically leading the division right now at 1-1, and then you also have the Cowboys at 1-1. So they can't afford to fall too far behind. If the Commanders were able to beat the Bengals or the Cowboys were able to beat the Ravens this week, you don't want to fall too far behind. And then I feel this is a good spot. The Saints are riding high. I'm not gonna lie. They are probably playing the best football in the NFL. Offensively and defensively. So it's going to be a challenge for the Eagles, but mean, this is a game I feel like they like they might be able to control like the time of possession with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. And I get that AJ Brown is out, but they just need Smitty to step up, and Dallas and Goddard to also step up as well. So my blowout notice of the week, it would be the Denver Broncos at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Denver Broncos did not look great at all against that vaunted Steelers defense last week. This time they have to go on the road to Tampa Bay and play that Buccaneers defense, who has a very solid front seven. And I just think it's a tough ask to ask a rookie quarterback to go down to Tampa Bay and play in September, which it's I mean, the weather's hot down there in Florida as it is, and then you couple that with trying to play a Todd Bowles defense. I just don't like the outcome for the Denver Broncos at all. And then you also add in that Baker Mayfield is playing pretty well right now. So I mean, when you add all those things up together, and obviously, I mean, Tampa Bay has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who are legit wide receivers in this league. And the Broncos only have one Patrick Surtain, so I mean, he can only cover one of those guys. So I just don't see a outcome that's good for Denver Broncos today. Lastly, I'm gonna go over my MVP top 5 list as of the end of week 2. Sitting at the top spot, I have Derek Carr. I don't think you can deny it. I mean, he's playing some of the best football that he's played. And you got to give credit not only to Derek Carr but to the OC and the Kubiak, who's brought in his system and it's flourishing so far. I mean, Rashid Shaheed's playing well. And Alvin Kamara's playing well, and I mean Derek Carr is has put up really good numbers, and I mean leading that offense to a 2-0 record. So I got him at number 1. I've got Josh Allen at number 2. I mean Josh Allen had a great week against the Cardinals. He accounted for 4 touchdowns. He did have a fumble in the first half, but that's his only turnover of the year. He's playing extremely efficient, and he's playing strong at the quarterback position. Number 3, I got to give some love to Kyler Murray. Man, Kyler Murray is playing some amazing ball right now. He lost a tough game to the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, but in that game he played extremely well. At the end of the game, he did miss a throw to Marvin Harrison Jr. that could have won in the game. But I mean, he still had a solid game, and then he played the Rams in week 2 and had a fantastic game. So he has been doing his thing. He's showing that he's healthy, and I mean, when he's healthy, he can be a problem, not just inside the pocket, but I mean outside the pocket as well. 4th on this list, I have Baker Mayfield. I'm gonna give Baker some love, man. I mean, like the Bucs are 2-0. He's put up some really good numbers. He's put up some really good throws. And I mean, like he's point guard that offense. I mean, he's getting the ball to Mike Evans and Godwin. They got the rookie Jalen McMillan out of Washington. He's done all right for himself in the first couple games of the season. And yeah, Baker's played extremely efficient and extremely well. And lastly, like whenever we do these top 5 MVP lists, I always love to throw a non-quarterback in there, man, because they don't get a lot of love. Like the wide receivers and the running backs, or even the tight ends, or even a defensive play, don't get a lot of love when it comes to the MVP conversation. And I'm gonna throw J.K. Dobbins in there, man. J.K. Dobbins is averaging 130 yards on the ground this season. He's had 2 really good strong weeks. He's carrying that Chargers offense. With the help of Slade at the left tackle and their draft pick Alt at the right tackle, they have a really strong offensive line. He's taking advantage of his opportunities, and he's playing extremely well. So yeah, that's my top 5 MVP list as of the end of week 2. And we're gonna be back with y'all next week. Appreciate it. Peace.